This here is my husky cherry red plant. It's an indeterminate cherry tomato. It's more of a bushy kind of plant than vine. I mean the vines on it are pretty strong, and I've let it bush out so it'll produce a lot of tomatoes. Um, I would say that it's not a slow grower, but it is growing more slowly because I am letting it bush out, so there's a lot of suckers on it. Um, so it does cause it to grow slower. But overall, it's a good plant for Oklahoma. It's really healthy and seems to be very disease resistant. I haven't seen any signs of disease at all in this plant. It's producing a lot of flowers. It does seem to take a long time for the cherries to ripen compared to the sweet cherry 100 plant, which does produce tomatoes a lot faster, and they also seem to ripen a lot faster. Because I planted these not too long after I planted. See that one in the corner, that big giant bush over there in the corner here? I planted this sweet cherry 100 plant here that's got flowers all over it, got fruit already all over it, all over it. And this was months. I planted this plant here in this container months after I planted this plant. So you can tell that the Sweet Cherry 100 probably grows 50 times faster and puts out fruit just so much faster than this. And these tomatoes down here, they've been on there a while. They're finally starting. It's actually a pretty good size. I finally got my first ripe tomato from this plant, and it took a long time. But there it is in there, and it's actually pretty big. It's seems to be a little bigger than the Sweet Cherry 100s. I have no idea what it tastes like. Um, I probably will try it. Um, but finally, it's starting to produce tomatoes going up the plant. It flowered for quite a long time, and now it's finally starting to put tomatoes. You can see some in here on the flower. If I move this out of the way, if I can get in here. But yeah, you can see some little ones in here. Finally starting to come out. Overall, I think I may end up being happy with this plant once it starts producing the fruit. There should be quite a bit of it for the amount of space that the plant is taking up. And it's only halfway to the ceiling here. But I may start trimming it back a little bit as far as its bushiness because I don't want it overtaking some of my bigger varieties over here, bigger tomato varieties. But I would say overall it seems to be a good plant, but it does just take a long time for it to produce. Would I plant this plant over a Sweet Cherry 100 in terms of cells? The Sweet Cherry 100 plant is definitely going to be more profitable use of space because of how fast it grows and how much it produces compared to this. I would already be making some money and some profit off my Sweet Cherry plant. So, but this will be a good variety to probably mix in and to some of my sweet cherry my cherry tomato boxes that I'll be selling at my stand. I'll have a variety box that'll have some of these husky cherry reds, eventually some sun sugars. These here are sun sugars. Those three containers over there are sun sugars, and I'm gonna let them all bush out in the back just like that corner plant. And then I got two sun sugars up there in the front that I'll probably single stem just up to the ceiling there. And then anyway, so yeah, this plant down here is not part of the husky cherry. This is a tiny treats. and I just planted it there to see how it would do. And it actually looks like a pretty good plant to plant along the row here, because it doesn't really get in my way too much yet, and it seems to kind of sprawl. Because I was looking for some plants that I could plant along the edge in these raised beds that would still allow me access to the bigger tomatoes while uh, giving me more production out of the bed. And this is a great example here. It's got pretty decent little fruits coming off here, and then I'm just gonna let it crawl up this 2x4 stud, basically. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. God is good.